Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you may be in Europe and in the world. And welcome to Restorative from Sabden and Earth Day or Earth Week greetings. We have a packed agenda for you this afternoon into the evening. A very exciting day, packed full of exciting and regenerative insights. But first, a word from our host here in Sabden, Alison.
Thank you, Martin. It's absolutely wonderful to be here. I can't believe it's 4 years since we last did this together. And I can see that there's people here from all over the world. Really, really exciting. So welcome everyone indeed to the village of Sabden. And I said in a LinkedIn post for those who responded to it, I know it's certainly done the rounds, it's not often a village gets the headline alongside Athens and Warsaw, Paris, Madrid, Belgrade and Malmo. So proud to host you here today.
And Sabden is a beautiful village, and particularly on a day like this, we've got the spring sunshine, the birds are singing, and we're even going to play you some of the birds later on today, so do look forward to that. Sabden's in the heart of rural Lancashire. We're big farmers around here. If I look out the window over there from Sabden Church Hall, the St Nicholas Church Hall, I see sheep and lambs, and it's a beautiful time of year to celebrate nature. So in the heart of rural Lancashire, in the heart of the UK, my organisation, Plus of Your Own, has been here for well over a decade. And indeed, they say it takes a village to teach a child. And from here, we reach children now, young people and their teachers all over the world. So it proves wherever you are, and certainly in times of COVID, you know, we really, really are the centre of the universe for our children. So I'm looking forward to telling you more about our work later on today. So for now, Martin, I'll hand back to you.
Thank you, Alison. As I promised earlier, we have a really packed agenda for you today. We have 25 sessions or speakers throughout the day. I'm delighted to share some of the Restore dissemination work over the last 4 years, but also we're going to be picking up with Zoom Regenerative folk, and a good welcome to you all, give you an acknowledgement, including, I saw Claire from Australia, so welcome. And then this evening we'll be looking at some of the local practices here in Lancashire. But I want to start by looking at the Restore overall, and to start by showing a very short animation clip. You may have seen this before, but this is brilliant. It sums up really what we've been doing in Restore over the last 4 years.
Cost Restore Working Group 1 is progressing a paradigm shift in built environment thinking, from sustainability to restorative sustainability and on to regenerative sustainability. This working group aims to rethink education to inspire the next generation. Restore is fostering a reconnection with nature via biophilic design, creating a sense of place rooted in local, culturally rich and ecologically sound built environments. This progress is reliant on a circular economy that moves us from limited growth to regenerative economies. Working Group 1 is looking at the key issues of sustainability, from assessing the language used to improve communication and repositioning the role of humanity in our global society, to combating expected environmental changes via initiatives such as living buildings. The objectives of Working Group 1 have been undertaken within the context of the shifting paradigm of design, construction, operation and maintenance of buildings across Europe and worldwide. We spend over 90% of our time living, working and playing in buildings, so the built environment is highly influential for sustainability. The way that buildings are designed, constructed and maintained has been a significant contributor to the climate catastrophe that we're witnessing. Buildings can become part of the climate regeneration solution by switching to restorative and regenerative approaches.
90 seconds, 4 years don't work. And it's a real pity that we're now getting to the end of those 4 years. So a few messages from my side. It was 4 years ago on a very wet day in Brussels that we first met. And we worked out the program here for the Restore 4 years. And many people here in the room, you can see in the slide here, have become really good friends and collaborators and colleagues over to everyone involved. The Restore Cost Action set out with a number of goals. The most important one is to effect this paradigm shift towards a restorative sustainability. And throughout the 4 years, that restorative sustainability actually became a regenerative sustainability. You would have seen this chart many times before for those involved in the Restore group, but we're from a less bad version of the built environment we have today to a built environment that is better for us, better for place, and better for the planet. And we move away from business as usual, past just reducing impact, into sustainability, into restorative, and into regenerative. Over the 4 years of the Restore, we've done some fantastic activities. Management committee meetings, working group meetings, core group meetings, training schools, the booklets, and we'll see later during the day used. Absolutely brilliant stuff, which is really going to affect the paradigm shift in education and in practice. And here we see some of those publications. The top row there is available. You can download those from the Restore website, and I'm sure someone will post that into the chat. The bottom ones are available real soon. So on the far left there, we have scale jumping from working group 5. We have the Restore, the story of how Restore was project managed. We have Restore 2030, educational guide. And then we have the final booklet, Rethinking Sustainability Towards a Regenerative Economy. A fantastic collection of publications. But probably it's been the training schools, which have been at the heart of the action. The last training school, as you see here in the picture, was held in Vienna. Previously, we met in Venice back in 2019. The year before, we're in Bolzano, which is a conference. The year before that, going back to 2018, we met in Malaga. And the year before that, the very first training school was held here in Lancashire, over in Lancaster. And I think it's quite fitting that the tower you see there, the tower to the castle, was where the Sabden witches were marched to over the moors and then sentenced to be hanged. On Restore, and I'd just like to share a couple of slides here. These are the warming stripes. Each one of these stripes shows the temperature difference over the last 100 years or so. The 404.64 was the parts per million of carbon in the atmosphere when we started Restore 4 years ago. And you can see the 421 recorded last week, the highest ever. So it just demonstrates what the temperature increase. We're moving in the wrong direction. And we need to turn that around. We need to get from the 421 down to the 350 parts per million. 350 being what scientists tell us is a safe carbon level. And there's many things we can do. And as individuals within Restore, we can start to apply all the good work from the publications, but we can also contribute to make Restore the first carbon neutral EU network. And we'll be putting links for how you can do that into the website. But like to ask a question, are we brave enough? Are we destructive enough, clever enough, and passionate enough to do this? Over the next 10, 20 years, getting from 420 down to 350 is a huge task. And my response to my own question is yes, we are brave enough, and we are passionate enough. And meeting the 160 so people in Restore shows me how clever we are. So where do we go from here? If 2017 to 2021 was to create a paradigm shift, and I believe we're starting to do that. And I'd just like to pose a question, what if a city made that shift? What if the city of here in Preston or Vienna or did everything that we've been talking about in Restore? And that's the purpose of the Restore 2030, just to do that, imagine, what would a city look like in 2030? So for me, it's a big thank you, Restore. And you can follow the work of Restore across these numerous social media channels from Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, etc. Throughout today, we'll be hearing lots of little presentations, all demonstrating what is possible. And it's a question I'd just like to leave you. What's possible today, tomorrow, and forever? To borrow a Toshiba mantra, as it were. So whilst you look at the agenda, I'd like to pass back to Alison, and we'll move on with the rest of the day.
Indeed, Martin, and I think you've proven what's possible when an amazing group of people come together from all across Europe and indeed all around the world. I've been inspired by your work. I can't wait to start working with the schools. We've got some great work going on as a result of Restore for primary school and secondary school children. So I suppose the question is, what are the next steps for Restore?
Yeah. Restore will continue. The community will. It's possible that the Restore, as we know in the last 4 years, will change. But the community, the spirit, the passion will continue. And we really need that, because we really need that to continue. Because over the next 5 years in particular, we have a real task in front of us.
Indeed we do, indeed. The 5 years is the span of a child's life in secondary school, and I know how much change they have over the time of their secondary education. So can't wait to see what's coming next. Tell me more.
We now switch to Blerta. So Blerta, if you can share your screen, we'll move into...
Hello, thank you very much.
Working group 1.
Hello everybody, and thanks for the opportunity to present the outcomes of Working Group 1 of Restore. It has been a pleasure being part of this group. I was actually subgroup leader of the Working Group 1, and we have gone through, and we had the responsibility to set the road for others working groups, and it was quite a big responsibility as we started from since the beginning of Restore. When we were discussing the quote or the saying of Brundtland, "Do nothing today to compromise tomorrow's generation," and we were all discussing if this is really enough to do today, and if this is what we can do, or we have more capacity to do it better than this, to go forward or to go beyond this. And of course, we took in consideration all the sustainability goals set in Paris in 2015, and here we go. In June 2017 was our first meeting in University of Algarve in Faro, Portugal, when the work of Working Group 1 has started. A lot of work, a lot of engagement from professionals from different countries, and the vision was set. So do nothing today to compromise tomorrow's generation was definitely not enough. So the vision of our work group was well-being and love from the awareness of the planet. and how we moved slightly from we try to understand how we moved slightly from the ego era, the time when we use the nature, we use the planet, we use the resources, to an eco era, how we are friendly to the how we are trying to be friendly, and our impact in the nature is slightly softened into a Siva era, when we have to get back to the planet what we are already using, and are we doing enough to contribute to this era. As Martin has already presented, the chart of going from restorative to regenerative is slightly moving forward. So actually what we are mostly discussing nowadays is still sustainable, but we don't sustainable, it's not enough for these days. We have to move into the living system design, into the improving or contributing to a better place. So we have to contribute into the living system awareness. So and that's what Restore was trying to do, moving forward from restorative to regenerative state of mind. And we, at since the early beginning, we tried to understand the definitions firstly, and then to understand where we are in different type of contribution. So where we are in literature, where we are in building certification systems, where we are in how we understand the economy, how we treat economy, and this is what we, and on the way forward, we understood that the most, or let's say the first step to go forward, it's the sustainability language. Actually, do we all understand the same notions, or the same terms in the same way? And how we try to define them, it's sustainability, or the balancing point is when we give back to as much as we take from the planet. And then moving forward into a restorative sustainability, where we try to restore the resources we have used, or try to restore the planet into a healthy state, and up to the final, up to the highest level, let's say, not the final, hopefully there'll be another level that is better than regenerative. It's enabling social and ecological system, and maintain it to a healthy state, and enable it to evolve and thrive. Everything is published in the first working group booklet. There are a lot of materials, or a lot of study cases, a lot of sustainability language and definitions. So everything what have started from the regenerative principles. So all the study cases have been considered from the aspect of the defined principles of regenerative construction and built environment. 4 of them were our main objectives. So nature, place, economy, and education. How do we see nature, or how do we embrace nature? These were our triggers. How do the importance of place when we treat the built environment, or the importance, the way how we consider economy, or how do we consider the entire supply chain of construction within transactions of economy. And of course, the education, which is the most important action. And for each of them, we set it a vision. How do we want to go in from exploitation of nature into place-based regenerative design? and how do we go from standardized solutions into the integrated built environments, when we integrate the history, the social beliefs and social aspects of the place into our design for the built environment. How do we go from the linear economy into regenerative economy, into circular economy, and how do we go from the teaching into empowerment and participation for the education topic. There were 4 subgroups. I told you that I was leader for only one of the subgroups. There were 4 of them: health and well-being, and equity, living buildings, heritage, and circular economy. And all of them has come out with a very important and very interesting materials, which are all presented into the booklet of Working Group 1. As Martin has already presented, the first training school of Working Group 1 has taken place in Lancaster, and there were 40 trainees from different countries of Europe. And if I'm not wrong, 11 trainers and somewhere around 13 presenters. And it was very important, and everything was, let's say, started from the Leopold saying, who said, teach the student to see the land, understand what he sees, and try to enjoy what he understands. And this is a lot of buildings have been visited at the time of during the training school held in Lancaster. And the one very important one was the Curden Valley visitor center in UK, which is one of the case studies came out from the training school. It's a very, let's say, regenerative. It has a very thoughtful regenerative point of view, and the way how it treats it's a net zero energy building. It has a considered circular economy during its construction. It's plant-based. It has used a lot of plant-based materials. Zero cement and concrete, or red list free building, and it's also certified based on performance. So it's a very good case study which has been presented to all the trainees of the training school 1. Another good example of regenerative way of construction is the Tekura here in New Zealand, which is the first building in New Zealand to be built based on the principles of a living building challenge. It's a community center it's a community center which is built which is totally built according to the beliefs and to the way how the community lives, and it has used a lot of local materials which present the local experience of the country, of the community. It has a fully operable windows, and it's very good ventilated building. It used 100% of the water, which is filtered and UV treated, and has photovoltaic. It produces the entire energy from the photovoltaic panels. It's net zero energy building. And the entire, as I said before, it's the entire building and its landscape promotes equity and social justice for the community, which was in very much in need for this kind of construction. And it was one of the buildings that brought together and keep bringing them together as a community. And the third study case that I would like to present briefly was it's a very good circular economy study case, which is in Kosovo. It's a TV studios in Kosovo started, which has been, it's a reconstruction or of the an old factory, industrial building of an old factory, which has been let's say transformed into TV studios and events building. You can see the bricks in the wall have been reused by the old burned houses during the last war in Kosovo. The wooden walls, the separation of wooden walls have been used from the wood factory leftovers. So what the wooden factory will not have not used, the pieces of the wood have brought together and used to for the interior and for covering the interior walls of the separation walls. The lighting fixture have been reused from the older factory, same as the radiators element and the radiators itself. The separation walls of the gallery have been constructed from the wooden sticks, while the ceiling have been built from the processed bushes. So it's a 80 centimeter of the bushes, which have very good acoustic effects in the entire building. And the last but not least, the wooden facade have been constructed completely from the recycled railway ties. So there are a lot of buildings which can be presented as case studies, but I have chosen only 3 of them. A lot of them are presented in the booklet of the Working Group 1, for which I would like to thank all the participants who have contributed into this booklet, presenting these materials into this booklet: Martin, Edeltrud, Egla, Katri, Diana, another Diana, Ivan, and Zvi from Israel. I would like to present you a very short animated video about what have been done in Working Group 1 before finalizing my presentation.
Restore Working Group 1 is progressing a paradigm shift in built environment thinking, from sustainability to restorative sustainability and on to regenerative sustainability. This working group aims to rethink education to inspire the next generation. Restore is fostering a reconnection with nature via biophilic design, creating a sense of place rooted in local, culturally rich and ecologically sound built environments. This progress is reliant on a circular economy, but moves us from limited growth to regenerative economies. Working Group 1 is looking at the key issues of sustainability, from assessing the language used to improve communication and repositioning the role of humanity in our global society, to combating expected environmental changes by initiatives such as living buildings. The objectives of Working Group 1 have been undertaken within the context of the shifting paradigm of design, construction, operation, and maintenance of buildings across Europe and worldwide. We spend over 90% of our time living, working, and playing in buildings, so the built environment is highly influential for sustainability. The way that buildings are designed, constructed, and maintained has been a significant contributor to the climate catastrophe that we're witnessing. Buildings can become part of the climate regeneration solution by switching to restorative and regenerative approaches.
Thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for all the contribution again, and for giving me the opportunity to present today.
Blerta, it's wonderful to see you again, and I'm so excited. Again, wonderful story from you, and so excited about the next steps for us working together with the primary schools and secondary schools in Sheffield and indeed in Kosovo.
we're already working in the publication of the in different journals for the outcomes from working group 1 are being used as a starting point for future publications. So especially the well-being topic is very important. So most of us are working, and what Restore has done, what I valued mostly from Restore is bringing together different people from different countries, and the network is it's a wonderful thing that we can use in the future, or we can facilitate in the future. We are looking forward, and we are working for future publications. Right now we are working to together with three other Restore members. We are working on a publication to identify the barriers and the drivers of paradigm shift from single cases of regenerative construction into bigger scale cases or to macro level projects, and how this shift from small projects into bigger one is being done, and which are the drivers and which are the barriers that stakeholders are facing. So a dissemination of the results is being continued and will continue, as you already said, and the best results will be when we come back with the results from the school collaboration from UK and Kosovo as a beginning, but hopefully the network of schools will grow very soon.
That sounds wonderful, Blerta.